Every city has a spot where locals will steer away from. Perhaps the stories are all hearsay, or perhaps there is an element of truth to them. Regardless of their beginning, here are a few places we suggest you avoid at all costs.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Titanic. I'm your host, Alexa.
10. The Haw Par Villa Theme Park, Singapore. Picture Disney World in your head. Great. Now imagine the exact opposite of that. Did you envision something like this? Quite possible. It's everything that Disney World is not. Gruesome, frightening, creepy, sinister, and morbid. But it's not all doom and gloom because every scene is meant to teach us a valuable lesson. Inside, you'll find the 10 Courts of Hell, depicting gruesome displays of what could happen to you if you do wrong. For example, thieves are thrown into blocks of ice. Basically, any misdemeanor has a form of punishment. There's a great deal of mythology surrounding the displays, and it was originally built to teach children about Buddhist, Confucian, and Taoist mythology. It's been there since 1937 and was originally called Tiger Balm Gardens. The theme park became obsolete during the war, but was revitalized in the 80s when animatronics were added. And you thought it couldn't get freakier? Well, it does, because now the park is open until 10 o'clock at night, and those that have recently visited said it's like walking through a giant haunted house with many sets of eyes following your every move. 9. Sedlec Ossuary, Czech Republic. If it's macabre you're looking for, then you've come to the right place. Also known as the Bone Church, Sedlec Ossuary has in the region of 70,000 skeletons displayed in the most unusual ways. You'll see them displayed as chandeliers, candelabras, pyramids, and even bone bunting made from, well, you guessed it, bones. The history of Sedlec Ossuary is a long and interesting one, beginning in the 13th century. The abbot of the monastery had taken a journey to the grave of the Lord in Jerusalem. He brought back a handful of soil from this sacred site. He scattered the soil across the cemetery at Sedlec Ossuary, making it one of the most desired places to be buried. Everyone wanted to ensure they were buried on this now holy site. It didn't take too long before 30,000 people found their final resting place here. But the area became overcrowded and the old bones were moved to a crypt to make way for the new ones. Come 1870, František Rindt was given the strange task of arranging the bones in an artistic way, and the local woodcarver did an amazing job with his task. If you go and visit this morbid yet intriguing spot, look out for Rindt's signature on the wall, and it too has been done with bone. 8. Overtoun Bridge, Scotland. The general vibe surrounding bridges is a little bit creepy, but the Overtoun Bridge in Scotland has a story that most can't match. Since the 1960s, this bridge has seen around 300 dogs jump from the bridge and, well, cross the Rainbow Bridge. Some tabloids speculate the figures to be closer to 600, but suffice to say, the whole situation is weird. The land surrounding the bridge has passed through many owners, but nothing in the ownership stands out as being unusual or lends a reason as to why this happens. The bridge has been there since 1895, and it's a popular spot for walkers and their pets. Over the years, walkers have said that when they cross the bridge, their dogs become possessed and run towards the edge of the bridge and jump off. This bizarre occurrence has also seen some dogs survive the jump, climb the wall, and attempt to jump again. 7. Centralia, Pennsylvania. The late 1890s was when Centralia was in its heyday, a bustling town with around 2,700 residents. These days, this former mining town is a ghost town, and here's why. One of the mines mysteriously caught fire in 1962, and the flames quickly spread underground via a network of tunnels. The residents knew about the problem, but it didn't seem to faze them. 2 incidents in later years scared the residents away permanently. One was when a gas station owner admitted there were abnormally high gasoline temperatures in his underground tanks, and an incident of a young boy almost falling into a 150-foot sinkhole. The last census claimed there were only 7 permanent residents left in the town. The only people that head there now are graffiti artists who leave their mark on the highway or use the empty streets for drag racing. You can still see smoke billowing from the cracks in the roads, and scientists believe it will be this way for another 250 years. 6. Pendle Hill, England. It's hard to imagine that this beautiful piece of land has a sinister history, but Pendle Hill is as morbid as they come. This Lancashire site was always known for its witches, and in 1612 the Pendleton witch trials took place, the largest in British history. The witch trials involved 12 alleged witches who were said to be responsible for the death of 10 people. 6 of the witches came from one family, and these days it's believed that the story began with a kind of rivalry or jealousy between the two families, the Demdike and Chaddixes. That escalated and resulted in witchcraft accusations flying. These days, ghost hunters love the area, and on the Living Channel's show, Most Haunted, one presenter claimed that it was the scariest episode they'd ever made. 5. Body farms, USA and Australia. It may sound awfully gruesome, but body farms play a very important role in our scientific understanding of the natural decomposition of the human body. In the USA, there are 7 body farms, and they've been operating since the 70s. There is 1 body farm in Australia. The research is used for a variety of reasons, including medical, legal, and educational purposes. Body farms are often depicted in fiction, movies, or series, and it's certainly not a place where you'd like to be hanging around. 4. Willowbrook State School, Staten Island. The locals of Staten Island have all been scared with the tale of Cropsey at some point in their lives. It's the spine-chilling tale of an axe-wielding psycho that escaped an asylum and now waits in the empty tunnels underneath Willowbrook State School. Their fears weren't for nothing, because Andre Rand was arrested for kidnapping children and doing away with them. The school, which housed thousands of disabled children and adults, was also linked to demon worship, and Rand had been a former employee, which fueled rumors about Rand procuring children for cults. Police had found signs of rituals on the school grounds and in the surrounding woods. Besides this eerie tale, the institution will also always be remembered for their abuse allegations. Some of the grounds now form part of the College of Staten Island. 3. Bowlsover England. A small town in England called Bowlsover made unusual headlines in 2015 on Daily Mail, claiming that it was the most satanic city in England. Is it enough to keep you away from the town? We doubt it, and maybe you need to head there to make up your own mind. The town has 76,000 residents, and on their 2011 census, 17 of them claim to be Satanists. The Church of Satan denied these claims and said it was just people playing a joke. There is a local legend, though, that says the devil once visited Bowlsover and demanded that his hooves receive the toughest Derbyshire iron. Panicked, the blacksmith accidentally hammered a nail deep into the devil's hoof, causing the devil to take off and give a frantic kick in response. It's believed the kick is why the spire at the Chesterfield Parish Church is crooked. 2. Aokigahara Forest, Yamanashi Prefecture, Japan. Dense forests are usually not high on the list of must-see destinations, and Aokigahara Forest in Japan is probably the most morbid of the lot. The foliage is so thick in this forest it earned the nickname Sea of Trees. The forest has long been associated with demons in Japanese mythology, and there are stories of ubasute happening here. A rough translation would mean abandoning the old woman. When times were tough and people were poor, families were said to abandon their elderly members in places like these. Some say this is nothing but folklore, but I guess we'll never know for sure. Their spirits are said to haunt the forest, and they are blamed for hikers getting lost and losing their lives in the process. Have you ever visited any of these morbid and sinister destinations? Or if you were brave enough, where would you go? Let me know in the comments below. 1. Quinta da Regaleira, Sintra, Portugal. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a top tourist destination in the Sintra area of Portugal and consists of a picturesque palace and chapel surrounded by a beautiful park, lakes, wells, fountains, and exquisite sculptures and constructions. The palace has been nicknamed the Palace of Montero the Millionaire after Freemason Antonio Augusto Carvalho Montero, the former owner of the palace. On the property are the Initiation Wells, which are 2 wells that are more like underground towers. The wells were never intended to draw water, but were used for ceremonial purposes. The larger of the wells has several small landings and are linked to tarot mysticism. The well is 27 meters, and there are underground walkways, all connected with tunnels. It's said the well depicts the death-rebirth allegory, and walking through the well is likened to being birthed from Mother Nature. The rest is all speculation, and if you're not too freaked out about the mystery, we do invite you to go and check for yourself.